Jackie Robinson.
Good morning, everyone. It's still morning. It's an honor to introduce Detroit's 76th mayor and the first female ever elected to lead the city, Mayor Mary Sheffield. At Strategic Staffing Solutions, we're proud to be a global company headquartered in the wonderful city of Detroit, and we always will be. So this moment is especially meaningful for us. We were also proud to support Mary Sheffield in her campaign. And I've got to say, our CEO, Cindy Paskey, really knows how to spot great leaders for Detroit and for Michigan. A lifelong Detroiter, Mayor Sheffield earned her degrees from Wayne State and Central Michigan before entering her public service career. In 2013, at 26, she became the youngest ever elected member of the Detroit City Council, later serving as its youngest president. In 2025, she made history by being elected as Detroit's first woman mayor. She has an ambitious agenda for Detroit, building on the city's resilience through neighborhood investment, affordable housing, public safety with a focus on youth, economic opportunity, workforce development, and infrastructure. And we're about to hear more about that right now. Please join me in welcoming the mayor of the city of Detroit, Mayor Mary Sheffield.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Good morning. It is such an honor to join you all here at the Mackinac Policy Conference, my very first as mayor of the great city of Detroit. Yes. Now, the only difference this time around is the number of meetings and parties I have to attend versus the ones I get to attend. But I truly have enjoyed meeting so many of you all over the past few days, building partnerships that would drive our region and our city forward. And I want to start off by acknowledging my partners that are here today on the Detroit City Council. If they can stand and be recognized. Yes. Yes. Thank you all so much for your commitment to our city and the partnership that we are continuing to drive our city forward. And to all of our fellow Detroit leaders that are here today, thank you all for your service and investment in Detroit. So let's jump right in. We know that there is undeniable progress in the city of Detroit over the last decade. We've seen stabilizing neighborhoods, growing businesses, record crime reductions, historic investments in affordable housing, and a much improved city financial position. Well, yeah, all right. A lot of hard work. While all great news, I wasn't elected to maintain the status quo. I was put in office for Detroit to rise higher. This Mackinac Policy Conference has always been an opportunity for us to think boldly about where we are headed as a region and as a state. And I believe that this moment requires exactly that, bold thinking. Because while Detroit and Michigan have made tremendous progress, we are also at a crossroads. The decisions that we make now will determine whether growth in the years ahead is temporary or truly sustainable. Whether we are growing our state's economy or are we powering the very people who power the economy. You see, the strongest economies are not built just from buildings and balance sheets, but from healthy, stable, and economically empowered people. And today, I want to share with you my vision for what sustainable growth looks like for Detroit, this region, and for our state. Now, typically, growth is measured by cranes in the skyline, activity in our central business district, by population gains or ribbon cuttings. While all of those things are great economic indicators, we must go a bit deeper to make sure that our growth is more sustainable. We know that buildings matter, but they are only as good as the foundation on which they stand. And for me, investing in people is that foundation. And it should be the foundation of any growth strategy. Building the foundation is about whether families can afford to stay in the communities where they live, where children have a pathway to opportunity, and where families can build generational wealth. Growth is only sustainable if it is rooted in the well-being of people. Because if all of the traditional economic indicators are strong, while people continue to struggle, then our growth model is not sustainable. Now, conventional wisdom will suggest that investing in people is only a social policy. But I submit to you all today that it is the foundation of Detroit's growth. Because when residents become healthier, more educated, more financially secure, they become the engine for long-term growth. This leads me to what I hope you all take away from this session. Poverty elimination is a pro-growth strategy. So in order for Detroit to rise higher, we must address the proliferation of poverty that stifles our growth. Now, why talk about poverty at the Mackinac Policy Conference? I'm sure many are asking. I know, it's tough. Because poverty is not just a social issue. It is an economic, business, workforce, and regional competitiveness issue. Yep. And if we are serious about building a sustainable growth strategy, which I know we all are, then we need to be serious about eliminating poverty and increasing economic mobility. For far too long, eliminating poverty has been viewed through a narrow lens, one of charity or subsidy. Some even believe that helping struggling families is somehow separate from economic growth. But I am here today, and I was elected to challenge that thinking. Because eliminating poverty is not a charity. It is a stimulus. It is a stimulus. And it is one of the most powerful economic development tools in our toolbox. Before we dive a little deeper, I do want to pause to acknowledge that there are some great things happening in our city. And that is due in large part to the investment and leadership by many of you all that are in the room today. If you take a drive down Grand Boulevard, you'll see that Henry Ford Health, MSU, and the Pistons are building an entire mini-city around the future of health development. Thank you, Bob. Michigan Central is the region's mobility and innovation hub. The JW Marriott will soon open next spring in time for the men's Final Four, and we just announced last week that Michigan is continuing to lead the state in population growth with over 5,000 residents within the last year. While we're putting real wins on the board, Detroit still has a poverty rate of nearly 35%. Even more troubling is the childhood poverty rate at 51%. That's more than 1 in every 2 children. That is the highest in the state of Michigan and the 3rd highest in the country. That is an economic red flag that should concern each and every person in this room. Yes. Because our children are not just our moral responsibility. They are our future workforce, entrepreneurs, homeowners, civic leaders, and the problem of poverty and its consequences don't stop at just Detroit's borders. They show up in our recruiting pipelines, our healthcare costs, and all of our local economies. There's an old adage that says an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And that is what I am proposing today. So let me further explain what is at stake. Detroit's high levels of poverty also has a direct impact on the city's financial outlook to our external creditors. Since taking office, I've had the privilege of meeting with two of the nation's premier credit rating agencies, S&P and Moody's. We've seen 12 years of consecutive upgrades. We are now up to investment grade since bankruptcy, which is great. But true to this administration, we want our credit rating to go higher. We want it to rise higher. And so in those conversations, I asked them, what is holding us back from a higher credit rating? And do you know what they said was one of the most important economic indicators of Detroit's financial health?
Poverty eradication.
Okay. It wasn't the new developments downtown, not our beautiful riverfront or our greenways, not even the newly created jobs or our 13th balanced budget. One of the most important economic indicators, they said, was the income levels of our residents. And they said, Detroit's persistent social challenges, poverty, and unemployment are holding us back. I am happy to report that after our meeting last week, both Moody's and S&P raised the rating for Detroit. Both did. And they quoted that because of strong governance and mayoral priorities that focus on reducing poverty, strengthening neighborhoods, affordability, and fueling growth was contributed to these upgrades. And this confirmed, all right. This confirmed what I have long believed, that raising household income is not just compassionate policy, it is sound economic policy. So when we invest in people, we are not weakening economic growth. We are strengthening the very foundation that growth is built upon, which leads to even more growth. And that is what we call the virtuous cycle. As you all will see, when we invest in people first, we create a more capable and strengthened workforce, which naturally increases incomes. And when we have higher incomes, we create the conditions for development and retail to come back into our neighborhoods. Our neighborhoods begin to flourish. Businesses begin to grow and expand across our city, and that investment goes back into supporting people. This is the virtuous cycle that we are building. But here is a novel idea. We don't have to choose between people or business. There is a symbiotic relationship between the two. If you know me, I have always said, people need business and business needs people. There you go. It's not either or, it is both and. And over our first 100 days, this administration has embraced that philosophy with unprecedented investments in people and sweeping changes in how we support our businesses. We established a new department of Human Health and Family Services, which provides quality of life and wraparound services. To our most vulnerable residents. And at the helm of this work is the city's first ever poverty czar, the nationally renowned Dr. Luke Schaefer, who is... Hey, Dr. Luke. He founded the University of Michigan's Poverty Solutions Center. And many of you all know that my very first initiative as mayor was to bring RX kids to Detroit. And let me thank so many people who helped make that a reality. This program provides direct cash to families, no strings attached. Since we've launched in February, we have enrolled over 2,300 Detroit families and prescribed over $4.5 million in cash. So, a lot of you all may be wondering, where is the money going? It is going back into our local economy to support our businesses and our workforce. And it is projected to boost Detroit's local economy by over $100 million within the first 3 years. And it's not just our babies and young families that my administration is investing in. We are also investing directly into our City of Detroit employees. Our new livable wage ensures that every full-time City of Detroit employee makes no less than $44,616 a year. That's over 900 more City of Detroit employees that are now being paid a livable wage. Now, my administration chose to implement these policies and programs not just because we believed it was the right thing to do. We also know that it is sound fiscal policy. And in Detroit, there is historical precedent that supports these policies being a smart business decision and a great way to build our middle class. 100 years ago, Henry Ford made the decision to pay his workers double the average factory wage. The benefits of making this conscious decision were immediate. Productivity in the factory surged, and Ford doubled its profits in less than 2 years. Now, when asked about his decision to pay double the wages of other factories, Henry Ford simply said, "It was the best cost-cutting move I ever made." So there you have it, folks. You can call me a pro-business mayor. At least according to Henry Ford, and I think we all can agree, he knew a thing or two about business. But just in case you all are not convinced on yet just how pro-business my administration is, let's talk a little bit more about the business side of the people need business, business needs people. Detroit is well on its way to be the best place in America to grow and start your business. For starters, we are supporting, investing in, and uplifting businesses that are already here. Our small businesses employ over 50% of all Detroiters, and they play an essential role in the vitality of our neighborhoods, helping drive neighborhood growth, which this administration is prioritizing. That is why we're funding programs like the Detroit Legacy Business Project, which supports legacy businesses that have operated for over 30 years and carried Detroit through its toughest times. And make no mistake, we are doubling down on investing in innovation and technology. Emerging industries like aerial mobility and defense are being fostered right in Detroit. And we are talking with global companies about making Detroit their home. I also hired a new Chief Operating Officer, Ms. Winnie Lau, who is an expert on customer service and organizational transformation. Is she here? Her mission is to reform the city's licensing, zoning, and permitting. The goal is to take the complexity out of each department. We will reduce cost, save time, and create more predictability. We now offer same-day permits. We've reduced yearly licensing requirements, and we will soon offer pre-approved designs for new home construction in an effort to build 1,000 new single-family homes in my first term. Now, I know Member Callaway would love to hear this. My administration has a very aggressive business attraction strategy to bring some of the best regional and national brands to our cities. Cities like Chicago, Baltimore, have retailers like TJ Maxx and Costco's. And nearly every suburb has an indoor amusement park and an adventure center for our young people. Why can't Detroit? Heck, Toledo has a TJ Maxx. I mean, come on. So we are in direct conversation with retailers, and yes, they are concerned about regulatory burdens, crime, and density, but can you guess what their number one hurdle is? It's poverty. It is the income levels needed to support their businesses, and that is why we are focused on building generational wealth and raising the incomes of Detroiters. Lastly, we could not leave this room today without talking about supporting our youth and prioritizing education. If we are serious about the future of Michigan's economy, we must be serious about the future of Detroit's children. If we fail to invest in our children today, we are weakening the workforce of tomorrow. As the saying goes, the best way to predict the future is to create it. My administration has been hard at work through our first 100 days to improve educational outcomes for our young people and center youth in all of our work. I appointed a senior director of youth and education and established a brand new office of youth affairs. Together, we are working to address and reduce absenteeism, improve access to transportation, and expand after-school programming. And that brings me to one of the highlights of my first 100 days in office, and that is launching the Rides to Rise program. This program allows all K-12 Detroit students to ride our city buses for free year-round. This means our students have one less barrier to get to and from school, after-school programming, and employment opportunities. And since launching this program, our data shows that student rides have doubled. Within a few weeks after our announcement, SMART followed suit, expanding this program to a regional resource. Yeah. This is an example of Detroit leading the way in finding solutions to the region's problems. We are also investing $1.5 million in summer youth programming through Occupy the Summer initiative. We've also increased city funding by 120% for after-school programming and to achieve our goal of having an after-school program within a 2-mile radius of every school. Now, our young people also need direct opportunities for workforce development. Our signature GDYT Grow Detroit Young Talent Program has been operating for over a decade in Detroit. Each summer, over 8,000 Detroit youth participate. They gain valuable work experience, training, and career mentorship. Over the last 6 years, ARPA has allowed the city to step in and cover most of the costs of this very important program. But we all know that ARPA funds are gone. They're gone. And so we need our business and philanthropic community and partners to step back in. So I ask all of you all today to participate in this summer and future summers GDYT program by sponsoring a few young Detroiters to come work for your business. It's only $2,500, and some of us spend more than that each month on our daily lattes and espressos. So Juliana is here. If Juliana, raise your hand. She would gladly take your money. Right, Julie? Seriously, though, our young people really could use your support. And lastly, there is no conversation about youth and education in Michigan without discussing the brain drain. We have excellent universities across this state. U of M, MSU, Wayne, Central, Eastern, Western, just to name a few. When many of our students in Detroit and the suburbs graduate, they feel like they have to leave Michigan for opportunity. So they move to other urban cities like Atlanta and Chicago and New York. And that is why we launched an initiative called Stay, Return, Move.
If you love Detroit like I do, then you got 3 options: stay, return, or move. Let me explain.
If you stayed in Detroit, this is for you. More investment in neighborhoods, more housing, and more opportunities for you and your family. You held it down, and now the city is investing back into you.
If you left Detroit, this is your sign. New developments, new opportunities, the whole city's evolving.
The Detroit you left is not the Detroit you're coming back to.
And if you never lived in Detroit, there's real homeownership opportunities, lower cost of living.
Culture, community, everything. You can actually build something here.
I stayed here.
I moved here.
And I returned.
I moved here.
I stayed. I returned.
I moved. I stayed.
I returned. So whether you stay, come back, or pull up for the first time,
Detroit is building something real.
All right. We are giving young people real reasons to choose Detroit. For those that live here now, we are investing in them so they make the decision to stay. For native Detroiters who love our city, we are calling them back home. And for those who have not experienced the culture and greatness of Detroit, we are welcoming them to our city. We recently announced a new partnership with Dan Gilbert and the Move Detroit Coalition to create incentives aimed at helping people stay, return, and move to Detroit. The first phase provides money for home ownership, relocation assistance, and business growth. To date, we have received over 5,000 applications. Applications from Michigan, of course. Applications from Michigan, of course, are leading the way, which shows that people want to stay. Interest from other states like Texas and Georgia are following right behind. And this is just phase one. We will have more incentives aimed at helping people choose Detroit. So you all have heard briefly a little bit about my vision on how Detroit can rise higher. Investing in people is one of the most sustainable pro-growth strategies we have available to us. And I believe that Detroit and Michigan can lead the nation in embracing this model. A model where economic growth is measured not only by what we build, but by who benefits. Where growth is inclusive and sustainable, and where we compete not just on incentives, but on quality of life. A healthy central city is critical for a region's success. It drives the region's economy. The better Detroit does, the greater prosperity for the entire region and for the entire state. I see that my regional partners are here, Warren Evans, Mark Hackle, and Dave Coulter, and we are all committed to working together to make our region grow. This year's theme is finding common ground, and I believe that people are the common ground that we can all come together to support and invest in, whether we call them our constituents, our residents, or our neighbors. People are the foundation of every successful business, city, institution, and economy. And when we put people first, we all rise higher. To all of the legislators that are in the room, I am excited to bridge the gap between Detroit and Lansing and work on critical issues like property tax reform and the governor's proposal to expand the Community Housing Fund. For Detroit to compete, we must address property taxes. And until we achieve that goal, we need all of the economic development tools available to us. And so we are looking for you all to reauthorize Public Acts 210 and 255. 210 and 255. So that we can continue to attract investment, create jobs, and build the middle class. My administration has begun to meet weekly with a working group to come up with multiple options on how we can achieve lowering our property tax rate. I look forward to working with Speaker Hall and everyone who is prioritizing this issue in Lansing. To our philanthropic community, thank you for your commitment and investment in Detroit. Let us continue to work together to align where our shared priorities meet. And to our business leaders, I invite you to join me in prioritizing investing in people to build our workforce and our region. And you'll start to notice a healthier bottom line for your business too. As I close, if you look under your seat, everyone look under your seat, you'll see a sticker under your seat. All right, I want you to take it out. I want you to look at it. And I want you to commit it to memory. Shh, this is powerful. They may seem like simple words, but I truly believe that they are powerful enough to reframe our entire growth strategy for this state. And if you're feeling bold, like myself, I invite you to wear it on your jacket or your shirt today as you attend other sessions and meetings. And when someone asks you what the words on that sticker mean, I hope you'll tell them that Mayor Sheffield from Detroit wants everyone on the island to know and to believe that poverty elimination is a growth strategy. Thank you all.